Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And here we have the Lust or Strength card. This is a very passionate energy. This is an energy that says, I am hungry for life and I want it now. This is a card that really makes us start to recognize how powerful we really are. It's this kind of stature. This is the feeling that I can just reach up into the night sky and pluck out one of the stars, put it in my pocket. You know, the feeling that we can do anything. Sometimes this becomes a feeling of invincibility. Sometimes this becomes a feeling that I'm just going to, I am going to gratify whatever desire or whatever hunger that I have, right? So we have to sort of be in control of this. This is a card of tremendous strength and power and capability, but also the need for self-control, the need to be able to harness this magical power and direct it in a sort of down the proper channel, right? So let's put this card into a little bit of context. This is really, really active and really strong, really hungry energy. And we've got a 5 of Swords to a 6 of Swords. Okay, you're changing your mind about something. And a 7 of Swords. You've been working on this for a little time here. We've got the Fool card. The Fool card is giving ourselves the freedom to go after what we truly desire with the Lust card, right? And there's the Star card. Oh, you have the spiritual forces here with the major arcana, and you have the mind that I think now is finally becoming convinced of what it's capable of doing, of what you as a whole being are capable of doing, because you are not just your mind, right? Path of the Serpent here, we have more Swords cards, the 8 of Swords. Now we got some Wands, some 5 of Wands, 3 of Cups, and well, we've got more Aquarius energy. This is a fixed air energy, a Prince of Swords. Okay, so it's kind of like Spirit has been slowly trying to convince you, so slowly trying to change your mind about what you really are, who you really are, what you're capable of doing. And I think that your whole life's changing right now because I think you're believing it. To me, this is the card that says, okay, I've been convinced. Now where do we go from here? Yeah, so this is really, really awesome energy. I like that we kind of have the air energy that's kind of clustered here, and then it starts out over here too, but then it just becomes fire and water and conviction, right? Well, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite and Unknown. And we're just going to set it right here with Tiny Belsnickel. Right there on top, Cheer or Fear, Tiny Belsnickel is here. We're not going to look at that card until the end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, feel free to put your guess, your hunch, your prediction down in the comments below. Now let's take a look around the room one more time. We've got major, major, major. Okay, and then we've got fire, we've got water. But really, we have the air. That's the abundant energy here. So this is a reading about communication. This is a reading about what we believe and how we are now expressing what we believe. How we're maybe formulating our own beliefs. How we are formulating those beliefs into a plan. How we are executing those plans and communicating them out into the world. It's one thing to believe something. It's another thing to kind of see logically how it might happen. But then it's another thing, very fiery thing altogether, to to put that plan into action, to execute the plan, to start doing the work out in the real world based on this belief in ourselves. See, this is fire. This is a very strong Leo energy. Okay, and here we have fire too, and this is a Saturn in Leo energy. So we have a lot of Leo influence here and a lot of Aquarius influence for you. The Star card and the Prince of Swords are both Aquarius power cards. So I feel like you might, if you have the time, check out both the Leo reading and the Aquarius reading. Okay, because I think maybe there will be some clues there for you as to what other energy is active in your life right now. The one thing we don't have here is the earth energy, because I feel like a couple of reasons. One, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you want to do in life. What matters is that you feel this passion for it and that you believe that you're not even really a mental belief. That's what the issue might be here, but this identity with this power. You are this pure power. Okay? It's not something else that you're tapping into. It's you, right? So there's no earth cards because, one, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. You could work in an office, you could be a glass blower, you could be a flight attendant or something, you could work on a cruise ship, you could be a musician or an artist of some kind. It could be a teacher, right? You could be in the medical field. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Right? What matters is that you believe that you have the power to do anything. So the absence of the earth card saying you can do anything. If you have this kind of hunger and this kind of appetite for it, and you feel that it's within the realm of possibility for you, you can literally do anything. Right? We're sort of functioning with the same sort of system that we're all very similar in a certain way, right? We're all human beings, right? I mean, at least I think we are, most of us. And so there's really this idea that anything that any human being has ever done in the history of time, well, why not you? You can do that too. So this is that belief in that human spirit, in that human power, that and even doing things that have never been done before. Maybe that's another reason, man. The third reason why there's no earth energy here. What you've done has never been done before. Well, just as we're all human beings, so we're all sort of the same, we're all very, very unique. We're all one of a kind. There's never been another you. Okay? So this is the belief both in me being special, but me being not special at all. I'm just like everybody else, but I'm also one of a kind and very infinitely unique. Okay. And another reason why there's no earth cards here, because I think this is something that you've not yet really done. Okay, I don't think that you've really you haven't broken ground on it yet. I think it's still something that is in the realm of the mental space, the planning stages, something that you're still trying to decide if it's right for you, if you're capable of doing it, right? The Five of Swords here is sometimes a card of defeat. Right. Sometimes in a very standard reading, you would get this card and you'd say, it didn't work. It's not going to work. You're going to be shut down. You feel defeated. Right. Sometimes we feel that this is too powerful, and then you slap a Five of Swords on there. No, you don't believe that you can do it. So we've already defeated it. We've already lost the game. We haven't even started playing yet. It's like your family says, well, you want to play some poker? You say, no, I'm going to lose. I'm terrible at poker. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to play because you're gonna take all my money. So we don't even believe in ourselves to the point where we're not even going to try. And the lust card is saying, this one, lust or strength, same card. This one is saying, heck yeah, I'm going to play. Yeah, I'm going to play, and I'm going to whoop all your butts. Even if I've never played poker before, I don't know what I'm doing, really, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to have a good time doing it. But more than that, I believe that doing this thing is very much within the realm of my capabilities. Now, it might take me a few days or weeks or years to get good enough to beat everybody. Now, I don't gamble. I don't play poker. But I do like a good card game. My daughter and I started playing the Guess Who game. Right? It was very, very fun. It was a Christmas gift to her. She's getting into the board games and stuff now. But to believe that it's within our capabilities to do this thing, to become this, the person that can succeed at something. Now, I don't think you're necessarily competing against anyone except for your own mind and your own disbelief. Saying, no, I can't, there's no way I can do that. It's not for me. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the first thing about electrical engineering or whatever, right? Whatever you're doing. Whatever you want to do. Okay? I feel like in a big way, this is you believing. Spirit has been sort of whittling away at your mind, and I think your thoughts are starting to change, because now I kind of see this card, typically the card comes out sideways, right? When we put it down, I don't usually put them down up and, vertically like this. The one card is upright, the next card crosses its path. So what do we have? Well, we don't necessarily have the card, it's not upright and it's not reversed either. So it's kind of like we're not sure yet. This card's sideways, right? It's like I haven't quite made up my mind yet. What we got to do, and I think what Spirit's been doing, is sort of nudging this card the right way, as I say it, where the spiritual sword, that point of the pentagram here is pointed up, which means that we are triumphing over the sort of practical realities, the practical facts of the situation, right? In this way, it kind of feels like the Spirit is crushed underneath the weight of the other four swords. In this way, it feels like those other four swords, the elements, the realities, the facts, the details, are now supporting the Spirit instead of overwhelming the Spirit and saying, no, there's no way, this is too heavy for me. Now it's saying that, okay, now I feel like this is, if we break it down into the little chunks of details, we say, well, I'm capable of doing that. Playing poker, well, I'm capable of of seeing patterns and adding things together or whatever, I don't know. I'm capable of holding some cards and seeing what the symbols are on the cards. I'm capable of problem solving. I'm capable of, keeping a straight face and controlling my reactions to things, If I get a good hand or something, I'm capable of memorizing what the good hands are. I'm capable of taking risks. We break it down into these little things and think, well, yeah, there's nothing here that is completely outside of the realm of human possibility. Not only that, but I see all my friends out here doing it. Why not me? Well, maybe you haven't done it before. I think that's what's going on here. But I do feel as if you are beginning to become convinced by Spirit that this is something for you and that you do need to do it. The Six of Swords underneath everything is really that belief. Is a card called Science. It's saying, if I put all the pieces together in the right way, this seems very, very possible. And this is to our mental energy, right? Because the mind likes to pull order out of the chaos. And in all of the Swords cards, if you've noticed, all of the Swords cards show chaos in the background and some sort of object in the foreground. We see sharp angles and lines in the background, and then we see our swords. And especially in the Five of Swords, we see a lot of chaos in the background. Right, and it looks like a bruise, right? It's the green and purple it looks like a bruise that's been there for a minute. And that's basically our ego is bruised, right? But there's still a lot of chaos in the background, but we're trying to put something together in the right way. We're trying to find some sort of order. Well, if we look at this card now, we see a little bit of that sunlight starting to break through, that spiritual light of consciousness, of activity, right, of hope. And it's the yellow of the Five of Wands back there. But we also see that we're creating something structured and harmonious. We're creating the circle, the square, some sort of symmetry, balance. We're creating order out of the chaos. We've done it. So now I see, okay, I've got a plan, basically, right? This is saying there's no way, I don't know how to do it. There's no way to do it. It's impossible. But at least this is us trying to figure it out. Trying to figure out, trying to believe that I'm capable of it, and then trying to establish the plan of how I'm going to do this. How am I going to change my life? How am I going to start doing this thing that I have all this passion for? How am I going to start believing in myself and getting things done? Doing, behaving in the world as if I believe in myself. Not as if, functioning in the world, behaving in the world because with that acknowledgement, with the full awareness that you are capable of anything and that you really truly believe in yourself. So the Six of Swords is the plan itself, the blueprint. We're seeing it come together in our minds. We're starting to see a beautiful picture emerging, and we see a logical way that this can happen. And there is that belief, there is that harmony, that mental harmony that says, okay, I can see it now. Let's do it. Let's act on this before before the mind starts to kind of make it worse, right? We think about this too much. This is the sweet spot. We think about it too much, and we sort of get back to our 7 of Swords. 5, 6, 7, right? And really, we have 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we really don't want to get to that 8, because at least with the 7, it's like I want to do something, but I see a lot of challenges in my way. So I think the previous to right now, anyway, you've been this Ace of Swords in the middle. The Ace of Swords is saying, I want to do something. I got an idea. It's like a light bulb going off over our heads, that Ace of Swords. I see it. This is what I want to do. And then we start finding holes in that theory. We start poking holes in our own ideas. Well, I want to do that, but what if it doesn't work out? And you know what? I've never done it before. I don't even have the skills or the training. I can't imagine how this would really work. We start we start hamstringing ourselves before we even get to the point of having a plan. It's like we put the kibosh on it before it even, as soon as we get that light bulb idea, the light bulb burns out. And it's just, no. And I think a lot of this is because of our past, because anytime, we've had these big ideas, we always feel that there's a lot of criticism. Criticism, especially from the people that we love. Saying, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? That seems pretty risky. That seems kind of like outside your wheelhouse. Are you sure you want to do that? And it's always with the hand like this, right? And so that we might be used to that as, just from when we're kids. Having this great idea, and then we just sort of feel that kind of criticism, or people have something negative to say about that. And then so we kind of learn to keep our aspirations more reasonable in life. Yeah. But we don't, once we get that plan, once we sort of say, okay, I can do this, and here's how I'm going to try, here's what needs to happen in order for me to succeed at this. We don't want to go back, we don't want to sort of activate that complex again feels like from our past, right? That then starts poking holes in our theory again. Because it's good to question what we believe. It's good to take your plan. This is the perfect plan. This is how I'm going to do it. Okay, am I sure? What are some ways that this might fail? What are some ways that I need to sort of shore this up, and how can I? It's like you have a scientific theory. Well, you have to test the theory. You have to poke holes in the theory. You have to try to anyway, right? But that's not just done in the intellectual sphere. That's not science necessarily, right? It has to be done through experimentation. Well, I've got to try to do it and see what works and what doesn't work, and then I can go back and sort of tinker with the theory, come up with a new best plan ever, and then put that to the test, right? Because we don't want to go back here and start poking holes. We don't want to start questioning ourselves so much that we just say, yeah, you know what, you're right. It's not worth trying. Because then we get stuck in this loop. We get stuck in this loop of kind of believing that we can do it, feeling it, seeing the plan, and then we kind of start overthinking it. And then we say, okay, well, back to the drawing board. Let me figure out, let me think about it some more. Okay, I've got the idea. I've got it a little bit worked out here. I see some sort of logic, some sort of rational course of events. Okay, well, let's think about that. Let's talk about that. No, wait a minute. That's not right. So we get stuck in this loop, and that's where we get the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords is the lemniscate, right? It's the figure 8. It's that sideways, infinity kind of symbol. That's just showing we're stuck in a mental loop where we're never taking action. We're paralyzed by our own doubts, our own thoughts, our own questions, our own second guessing. Okay, this disbelief in ourself, and the Swords cards are really challenging cards, aren't they? They're almost worse than the Cups. Because the Cups we can sort of say, I feel this way, but whatever, life goes on. But when we get stuck in our head about it, then it becomes totally, it becomes paralyzing, because then I can't think of anything else. And if I'm not thinking about something, I'm not really going to be doing that thing. Too much thought leads to no action. But there is also the implication that if whatever we think about enough is eventually going to be realized. So another reason, fourth reason why there's no earth cards here, is because while you're busy thinking about this in this way, your hands are out there in the world molding that reality, right? And then, but it's beyond, it's like we're not even looking, right? We're thinking all these negative thoughts, or we're going through like, I believe in myself. Oh, but what if I fail? Well, I'm not good enough, and blah, blah, blah. All that sort of programming from our history and all the criticism. And what our hands are doing over here, where we're not even looking, is they're creating that reality where, here, this is what you wanted, right? And then we're thinking, I don't want this. Why does my life look this way? I didn't want to do this. And then the body basically says, well, this is what you've been thinking about for the last year. Here you go. I thought you wanted this. The body is just being obedient. The body is going to follow whatever the mind is doing. So we have to be committed. We have to be positive. We have to believe that we are capable of plucking a star out of the night sky and putting it in our pocket. Because then the body is going to be over there in the unconscious way, creating that reality where that happens. That's the power of positive affirmations. If we convince ourselves mentally about something, and if we say it to ourselves enough and it starts to sink in and we start to really believe it, the body's going to just create that reality. And so that's, I think, another reason why we don't have any earth cards or pentacles here. We have a Fool up top, though. And the Fool, I think, is really, you're ready to embark on this new path. And spiritually, it just feels like, I may not have all the answers. I may not have everything figured out, but I want to do it anyway. Okay. Sometimes the Fool can be a bit of an unconscious energy. Even though it is pure air, it is just pure awareness, right? It's sort of asking us, what are we creating? Because, there is a new path opening up to you. Your life is continuing on. There is sort of a new timeline sort of opening up for you. And if we're consistently ruminating on this air energy, the Fool is going to have really no sense of direction. And the Fool is going to be blown by the wind. Okay, and we don't really want that. We want to be the wind, right? We want to blow intentionally in whatever direction we are, direction we are sort of inspired to blow, right? Nothing worse than a wind that is in conflict with itself, right? Because then you get some really bad storms. We want the nice, strong breeze, the one that's going to fill the sails and carry us forward in this direction. So I think the Fool is really ready to do this. It feels like this is a big life-changing sort of thing, that this is you wanting to embark on a new path, but it's a Fool. It's a bunch of empty air. It's like to do this, you're going to have to forget everything you've ever learned, in a way. Well, you're going to have to certainly drop all the disbelief. You're going to have to drop all of the self-defeating and self-criticizing energy that you've learned over the years. And you're going to have to accept that this is a new path, that I'm starting out here as an innocent fool at the beginning of a quest. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what the journey is going to be, but I know that I'm going to be changed by the journey. See, the Fool is going to get filled up by all of this. Right now, it's just blank slate. And so maybe this is you really understanding that you can start over, that you can start right now in your life and start this new quest, whatever. Maybe it's not anything specific. Maybe it's not, I'm going to go be a poker player or an electrical engineer or a teacher or a lawyer. Maybe it's just saying, I want to forget everything that I've ever done in life, and I just want to start over. I want to start right now in this moment, something new, something different, on this path of becoming who I am meant to become. Okay, and I think the more that we try to drop our expectations and drop all this negative mental energy, we sort of activate the Star card, right? The Star card is a bunch of things too. Every card's so complex, right? The Star card likes to, if we allow it, likes to send light into us. Divine light of conscious spiritual awareness. Show us where our knots of karma are. Show us where we've been stuck in these mental loops, specifically for you. Shows us inside what's been blocking our success. blocking us from becoming who we're meant to become, right? Using success kind of in that sense. And the Star card then will, once we start looking at those blockages and paying attention to how I am sort of sabotaging myself or interfering with my own will, you know, the light starts to spill out from us and starts to illuminate the path in front of us. We start to see a lot more synchronicity. Once we start doing the work, once we start doing this spiritual work and realizing how our thoughts are affecting that spiritual work, we start to get a lot more synchronicity in life. Things just start opening up. A lot of these weird coincidences started happening. Things start happening that we kind of think, stuff like that shouldn't happen. You know, we start getting more of this feeling of there's a divine force out here in the universe that is helping me. Right? And we're not going to get to that point if we get stuck in this self-defeating Five of Swords. What we want is this spiritual energy. I want to believe that I can do it. I want to feel passionate for this. I want to start this quest, this journey, even though I don't know what to expect and I've got to relearn everything. And I want that support of the universe. The universe loves you, right? The universe loves you infinitely, wants you to succeed. But like anybody, if the universe keeps trying to show you all the beautiful things in life, all the wonderful paths that you could take, who you could really become, tries to show you through signs and symbols and synchronicities and strange coincidences what you're meant to do, but we keep in our Five of Swords energy, the universe is just like, well, I don't know what I tried, you know? You know, when we all have experience like that with a friend or someone that we really, really love, and we're trying to convince them how beautiful and perfect they are, and they don't believe it, and they continue down the same road that they've been on. We sort of feel like, well, there's nothing I can do. I can't pick them up by the collar and throw them into the right direction. You know, it's like nothing's going to happen until we believe that it can. Okay, and the universe has that attitude towards, loves us infinitely, but it cannot just grab us by the hair and drag us to our right path. You know, we have to be open and receptive to it. And then the universe will start showing you all of those signs and synchronicities. And we want that. We want that novelty. We want those meaningful coincidences and the synchronicities, because they confirm, they reinforce the fact that, okay, I must be on the right path now because I'm getting all these weird alignments, all these energy activations, and all these synchronicities that are happening. You know. Now, Path of the Serpent. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. Yeah. Your general energy, of course, is that Eight of Swords, because we're looping in on ourselves. We keep coming back to this same thing. And it's even saying, look, I know the spiritual energy. I know all this is true, but I'm stuck here. See, it's kind of like 3 and 3. It's sort of like we're equally matched now, you know. And it's really, you know, I know the spiritual path. I know that I'm capable of more, but I just can't get my thoughts from going down a different road. You know, sometimes that's the biggest obstacle that we face, is underneath everything, knowing that we're meant for great things, knowing that we're capable of anything, right? Feeling that, but then for some reason our mind just keeps running into this confusion and this stress and this chaos, trying to sort it out. And that's what the mind does, right? That's the only place the mind can really function, is in this place of trying to understand, trying to find that order in that chaos. But we keep looping back in on the same questions, and we keep doing kind of the same mental gymnastics that we've been doing, and that's our Eight of Swords, okay? It's interfering with what? Well, with us taking action. It's interfering with us activating the spiritual forces and taking a step on this path. Whatever this path is for you, if this is kind of an unknown, I don't know what I'm doing, it's kind of like I don't know where I'm going, but I know I can't stay here sort of energy. The Fool might just be saying, I'm looking for that quest of self-discovery. I don't know if I'm going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or a librarian, or a writer, or a painter, or a teacher, or construction worker, or an office worker. I don't know what I'm going to be. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know that I've got to start living life in a different way, where I believe in myself, and I'm being led by Spirit rather than being led by my 5, 6, 7, 8 of Swords. you know? Because then we get stuck kind of doing the same thing that we always have done. And it's kind of like saying, I want to change my life, and I'm here, I'm going to change my life. But then the mind just keeps us stuck in those loops. Nothing ever changes. Okay? Nothing changes until we change something. Right? So the Five of Wands is all that. It's about change. It's about fighting against something. What's something right now that you can attempt to do that's going to be challenging for you? Maybe it's just getting out of bed. Maybe it's about just, getting dressed and sort of going outside. Maybe that's the challenge. Right now, what is one thing that you can identify? What's the first thing really that comes to your mind? If I try to do this right now, it's going to be hard. What is it? Right? What is that going to be for you? And I think that's maybe what we should start working on. We should identify something something that we can change. And maybe it doesn't have to be that big thing. Well, I want to change my life. And as soon as I try doing that, I know it's going to be hard. Maybe we take something a little bit easier, a little bit more simple, let's say. It doesn't have to be easy. That's kind of the issue here. It needs to be difficult, but it doesn't need to be that big, that big change, that big life change, right? Let's identify something specific. A habit, maybe, that we want to change. Okay. Maybe we smoke too much. Maybe we drink too much. Maybe we don't make the right choices in some other area of life. Maybe we procrastinate. Maybe we are too active in a certain area, right? Maybe we're workaholics. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something there that's like, wow, it would be really hard. And Sagittarius, this is a common thing for you. That's why I bring it up. Maybe the difficult thing we can try to do is turn down the heat on the stove a little bit. Maybe you don't need to go level 10 every time you do something, right? Maybe you can, instead of staying, 2 hours late every day at work, well, just cut that down by half an hour. Only stay an hour and a half later every night. Tone it down a little bit. Maybe that's something that's difficult for us to do, is to put less effort into something that we've been doing, right? Maybe part of the effort here is not so much the confrontation with a bad habit, but the establishment of a good habit, right? Do you take 5 minutes to do a little self-care routine in the mornings or the evenings? Just 5 minutes, right? Do something positive for yourself, and maybe that's kind of where you run into an obstacle, right? But the Five of Wands is saying, change something in your world right now. Something small, right? Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's some clothes in your closet that you always want to wear, and every time you get dressed, you kind of say, well, one day I'm going to wear that, But then you end up kind of just wearing the same sort of style clothing or jewelry or whatever that you always wear. Maybe today's the day to say, I'm going to wear that big, bright, pink shirt or whatever, that big neon kind of color. Today's the day, I'm just going to do it. It's something to push yourself to do. Because if everything stays the same, everything's going to stay the same. Nothing's going to change until we change something. Anything, right? And so I think that's why people kind of go through these periods of time in life where, maybe I'll do that big haircut, Maybe like I've had my hair long forever. Well, now I'm just going to cut it short, Don't worry, I'm not going to do that, right? I've got my hair in a clip today. It's still really long. But it's that, maybe today I'll get new glasses, Maybe today I'm going to just, I'm going to do something. I'm going to dye my hair or something like that. I think that's why people do that. Because it feels like if something changes, if there's something I can do right now that's going to change my reality, maybe it'll spark something. And maybe I can ride that spark, and that spark will sort of take hold and turn into this raging fire where now I'm confident. Now I feel like I can change everything. And now I'm here. This is that little spark. This is that big bonfire of potential that says if I can change my hair color, I can change the world. Right? Now, maybe the hair color is not it, because that's relatively easy, right? Maybe for you, that's like the big scary thing is like, I don't know if I could even go out in the world. If I cut my hair short, I don't know that I would leave the bathroom for a few days, So we identify something that may be a very small thing ultimately, but it's challenging nonetheless. It can't be something easy, because then it defeats the purpose, you see? And what that then does is activates our Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is the potential for joy and bliss. The Three of Cups is kind of this, well, in a way, this is the dopamine release, right? And of course, the Five of Wands then becomes that epinephrine or that adrenaline where we feel that we are, we're fired up now, right? It's just become that bonfire that we can accomplish anything. So it feels good to accomplish something. It feels good to make a little bit of a change. And I think that's why people, they get the haircut, the really big hair, and they walk into the room and everyone's like, oh my God, you got a haircut. Look at your hair. It looks so wonderful, right? We like that. We feel like I did something. I changed. I took a risk. And you know what? It worked out. Like it feels good, you know? Well, sometimes, you know, you would, I've done this before. I've grown my hair really long. Then I just sort of shave it all off. And then I walk into the room and everybody's like, oh, what did you do, right? And that sort of tanks the dopamine, right? And it just feels like, oh, I made a bad decision. Oh, and that puts us right back in that Seven of Swords. We're relying on other people to give us that reinforcement, to be like, to get that approval. Did I change the right thing? Does everybody like it? Okay, then I feel like I did the right thing. I feel like I did a good job, you know. If you're received poorly by your people, then it sort of discourages, well, I'm never going to do that again. You know, now I'm never going to cut my hair again because I don't want to experience that. I don't even know what neurochemical that would be. I'm no scientist or anything. But that feels bad, you know. And so what we're looking for is a reinforcement. And I think that the universe itself is giving you the reinforcement that you need. We're not looking to other people because other people, it gives them the power then. You know, if they like the haircut, then, okay, you did good. Keep doing it, right? Keep making more choices and more changes in your life that are going to please that group of people. If they don't approve, and then we feel like we've made a bad decision, well, I'm never going to change anything again, right? It gives other people, it gives society, it gives the world, whatever, too much power. Okay, so that's kind of like why this card's in the difficult position, because we need that reinforcement. We need to feel like I've changed something, I put in effort, and you know what? It feels good to do that. But where are we pulling that good feeling from? From within ourselves, from spirit, or back here from other people, or from the world, or from, you know, your so-called friends or family, right? So we've got to be careful with that. Now, this is the only water energy that we see here. So we've got to find a way to sort of motivate ourselves. And this is, you get that haircut, you don't have anybody to please but yourself. So you look in the mirror and you think, oh, I like that. I don't care what my family thinks. I'm digging it, you know. And we find that the more we do that sort of thing, and I'm not saying you got to go out and get a haircut. No, please don't. Grow your hair, right? But what I'm saying is that we make these little changes in life, and I think that the universe starts to encourage that we start to feel more confident about ourselves. We start to feel, and I'm not talking superficial stuff either. It doesn't have to be all about appearance or whatever, but trying to do something for ourselves and trying to make some sort of change, go up against a little something challenging in your life as often as you can, and I think the universe is going to encourage that. You're going to start to see different alignments. You're going to start to see like a lot of green lights in your life, a lot of alignments, a lot of synchronicities, a lot of meaningful coincidences, you know. And you know what I'm talking about. It would be like, you know, you decide on this really kind of wacky hair color, right? And then you go out into the world and it's just like you go for that new job interview or something, right? You're going to take a big risk and you're going to do something major, and it turns out that whoever's interviewing you, well, they have the same hair color as you, and it's like, wow, you know, I know that's a silly example, but that's kind of what I mean. You had no way to anticipate that, but the universe is saying, kind of a wink and saying, you know, I see you, right? So the Prince of Swords here at the end becomes this conviction. It becomes this belief that, you know what, I can do this, I have a plan, and I'm going to execute that plan. I'm going to go out into the world and I'm going to be myself. I'm going to start on this journey of self-realization, perhaps, right now, right here, right now, right? And this is now, you know, the Fool being just this ubiquitous air energy. Now this becomes a very directed wind. And that wind is the sail that's going to push that Fool forward. And it's the wind of mental energy that is positive. Now our mind is not so chaotic and confused, I think here the mind becomes very one-pointed. Your Ace of Swords right here is that strong wind, right? And these are a lot of crosswinds, the other swords, right? Here, our wind is so strong, our belief in ourself is so strong that the crosswinds aren't going to really do much. They may shake the car a little bit, but your boat or whatever is going straight ahead, okay? So in other words, we get sort of immune to the criticisms of others. We've tapped into that spiritual source of confirmation, affirmation, and encouragement and acknowledgement, right, in ourselves and in the universe around us, that the naysayers, the haters, the crosswind criticism energy does not. It rattles us maybe a little bit, but we're staying the course here. We believe in ourselves. I want to look at this mystery card. I know this has been a bit of a long reading. I want to see some very strong water energy here, or I want to see that earth energy. Yeah. We could get another major arcana. Let's see. If you have a prediction, remember, put it in the comments. A Four of Wands. Interesting. So we have the 5 and we have the 4. Now, I was going to say earlier, I should have said this because then I would look really cool. I was going to say we have the 5, right? 6. We have 7. We have 8. We have the 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I was going to say the one thing we don't have is the 4, right? Because there's not a lot of stability here. It's a lot of thinking, a lot of chaos, right? And even here with 7, 5, 5, 3, we have the underlying stability here that we could either believe in ourselves and have a plan, or we could just keep looping back in and be in this state of uncertainty forever, a perpetual state of sort of rumination. Yeah. But here now we have the 4, and I think this really links everything together. We have the 3 to the 4, the 5, the 6, 7, 8. Right? So the 4, I think, is that stabilizing energy that basically says, look, if I start taking action and I see results from a 5 to a 4, every time we get a 5, we start looking for the 4 and vice versa. The 4 is a temporary stability. The 4 is saying, I check something off my list. Is this a coming or a going? Are you returning or are you leaving? Is this a bon voyage or is this a welcome home? Well, it's both. Right? This is a card that says, I'm leaving and I'm going to go do something, and then I'm coming back. I'm getting it done. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to do something, and then I'm going to get it done. So it's kind of like we go out for the day at work and we come back home again. So this is both a coming and a going. This is checking something off your list and then starting on the next thing. Okay? It's a temporary stability. It's kind of like, your bed at night. You're not permanently in your bed sleeping. No, it's temporary. I'm sleeping there now, but the sun comes up, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go out into the world and do my work. And I'm going to come home again and I'll be right back in my bed, So it's really the checking things off our list. And I think the more that we're able to see ourselves accomplishing something, even if it's just simple things like, well, I'm just going to go, I'm going to wear that really colorful shirt, right? Or today, well, you know what, I'm going to go sit by myself in the coffee shop and read a book, which is something that we don't really do very often, just kind of be by ourselves, Or, that says, you know what, I'm going to share something about, or I'm going to raise my hand in class today, or I'm going to offer a suggestion in the meeting today at work. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to say something today. I'm going to, these little things. And once we do it and we see that everything's okay, more than okay, it feels good that we've done that. Even if, the reception wasn't great from other people, friends, family, coworkers, like maybe they don't care, maybe they have something to criticize or whatever, it doesn't matter. The fact that I did it feels good, and Spirit sees that. So, right, so the 5 is really the action, and then the 4 is in some ways, not the reaction, but that moment before the reaction, right? It's kind of like you do something and then you pull your energy back. You reach your hand out and you manipulate the world in some way, right? You have an influence on something. You do something and then you stop doing it and you see what the results are, I like this. I think this really fits in very nicely with what we're trying to do right now, and this idea of having a list, identifying those little things that we can do right now and check something off the list, or at least put in effort in something. It's kind of saying, well, what would happen if I change this little thing over here? What would happen if I put a little bit more cayenne pepper in the gumbo today? And then we sort of, we sprinkle a little bit and we stop. And this is that temporary stop that says, okay, you know what, I did that. I applied myself. I changed a little something today. And I think the more we do this, the more synchronicity we'll find, the more encouragement we'll find, and the richer, more savory life we will find. Yeah. We're going to do an extended reading. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Sagittarius Wednesday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.